Prince Louis, the youngest of Prince William and Princess Kate's kids, has just shaken things up with a surprising claim that's got everyone talking. In a move no one saw coming, little Louis has made a comment about Queen Camilla that's raised more than a few royal eyebrows. But what would a young kid know about royal drama, and why bring it up now? Let's dive into the royal whirlwind and see what's really going on. In every family, there's always that one cheeky little character who knows exactly how to steal the spotlight, crack everyone up, and occasionally drive their siblings a bit mad. In the royal family, that role goes perfectly to Prince Louis. With his playful grin, bright blue eyes, and endless energy, Louis has quickly become the royal family's resident scene stealer. Whether he's pulling faces at big royal events or sneakily blowing out his sister's Christmas candle, Louis knows how to add fun to even the most serious moments. No surprise then that he's lovingly earned the nickname the royal family's little troublemaker, though everyone agrees it's meant in the nicest way. But beyond all the laughs and playful moments, Louis shares a close, sweet bond with his older siblings, Prince George and Princess Charlotte. As the youngest, he brings a lively spark to the trio. He's especially close with Charlotte. At only 8 years old, she's already stepped into the role of the sensible big sister. You'll often catch her gently guiding Louis during public events, keeping him in check, or at least giving it a good try. A perfect example of their bond happened during Kate's Christmas carol service at Westminster Abbey. It was Louis's first time at such a grand occasion, and while it could have felt a bit much, he looked totally at ease with Charlotte right beside him. When he cheekily tried to blow out her candle, Charlotte didn't snap. She just smiled and carried on, showing the kind of patience only a big sister can pull off. Their sibling bond has been strong since the very beginning. One of the sweetest throwback moments is a photo from Charlotte's 3rd birthday, showing her holding baby Louis and gently kissing his head. Since then, they've shared loads of adorable moments, from royal appearances to playing around at home. Louis and George have also grown closer over time. George, who's now 10 and taking on more responsibilities, still makes time for fun with his little brother. The two are becoming quite the double act, sneaking snacks from the kitchen and playing innocent pranks on their mom and dad. At Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, George could be seen keeping an eye on Louis, making sure he didn't run off or get too carried away. It was one of those moments that shows just how much George looks out for his little brother, balancing his royal role with being a caring and fun big bro. Back home, Louis's big personality is just as bright. Recently, he's taken a shine to drumming, much to everyone's amusement, or slight despair. Prince William joked about needing earplugs, while Charlotte acts like she's not impressed, though she secretly enjoys it. And George? He pretends he's too cool to join in, but he can't help himself. It's these small, ordinary moments that show the royal kids are, deep down, just regular siblings, full of love, fun, and a touch of harmless chaos. Even with all their titles and royal duties, what really stands out is the close connection between George, Charlotte, and Louis. Whether they're out supporting causes or just enjoying time together, their warmth as a family always shines through. Not long ago, during a visit to a charity supporting babies, Charlotte took the lead while Louis lit up with excitement over a toy King Kong. It was yet another reminder that it's the little joys that make growing up magical, even if you're a prince. But Louis's story didn't start with royal antics. Let's go back to where it all began. His birth and the early days that shaped the royal family's tiniest whirlwind. Prince Louis came into the world on a bright and breezy spring morning, April 23, 2018, and instantly lit up the whole of the UK. From the moment news of his birth at St. Mary's Hospital in London broke, the excitement was unstoppable. Bells rang out, cannons fired, and crowds gathered to welcome the tiniest new royal. But this wasn't just any royal baby. It felt like a real moment of pure happiness for both the public and the royal family. His parents, Prince William and Princess Kate, picked his name with lots of thought and love, Louis Arthur Charles. His name nods to two very important people, Lord Louis Mountbatten and his grandfather, King Charles III. And even though that's quite a lot of name for someone so small, baby Louis seemed ready to take it on with charm, and a cheeky sparkle right from day one. One of the first truly special moments in little Louis's life was his christening. It took place on July 9, 2018, at the Chapel Royal in St. James's Palace. The Archbishop of Canterbury led the ceremony, which was full of lovely tradition and warmth. Surrounded by family and royal tradition, the whole day felt magical. His older siblings, Prince George and Princess Charlotte, stood nearby, proudly watching over their baby brother. The photos from that day said it all: big smiles, soft glances, and a sense that this trio was going to be very close as they grew up together. As the youngest of the royal bunch, Louis's early years have been a delightful mix of public royal outings and happy everyday family life. Prince William and Princess Kate have always made it clear that they want their kids to enjoy a normal childhood, one that's full of joy and play, not just tradition and titles. Whether he was running through the gardens at Kensington Palace or playing outside at Anmer Hall, their country home, Louis spent his early days surrounded by love, nature, and laughter. He loved helping out in the kitchen, chasing after his siblings, and soaking up those simple family moments that mean the most. From early on, Louis's fun-loving spirit really shone. In 2019, he made his first appearance on the Buckingham Palace balcony for Trooping the Colour. While some might have felt a bit nervous with all the crowds and noise, little Louis was totally in his element, smiling, waving, and winning over the public in a flash. As he got older, his silly faces and playful energy at royal events made him a total fan favorite. During Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee in 2022, while everyone else was focused on tradition and speeches, Louis brought the giggles with his lively antics, proving that even the most formal royal occasions can use a bit of childlike joy. In 2021, Louis started school at Wilcox Nursery, not far from Kensington Palace. On his first day, he looked totally thrilled, big smile, full of curiosity, and ready to jump into new adventures. It was clear he shared that same love of learning and discovery that his parents have always encouraged. Then, in 2022, the family made a big move to Adelaide Cottage, tucked away in the home park of Windsor. The change gave the children more space to roam and enjoy nature. Louis joined George and Charlotte at Lambrook School, continuing the tradition of growing and learning side by side. Even though he's still young, Louis has already been part of some really important chapters in royal history. After Queen Elizabeth passed away in 2022, his granddad officially became King Charles III, which bumped Louis up to fourth in line to the throne. Thanks to updated royal rules, he kept his place in line even after his sister Charlotte, a big step toward modernizing the monarchy. And when King Charles's grand coronation happened on May 6, 2023, Louis once again caught everyone's attention. Wearing his best outfit, he sat with his family during the huge event, bringing a little dose of innocence and sweetness to all the formal goings-on. While George had a more serious part to play that day, Louis's cheerful presence was a lovely reminder that the future of the royal family is full of life and heart. Even though he's still growing up, Prince Louis has already shown that he's a very special part of his family. His joyful energy, loving nature, and strong bond with George and Charlotte have made him one of the most loved young royals today. The royal family just wouldn't be the same without their cheeky, giggly little prince who fills their days with laughter and light. Sure, he might be known for getting up to a bit of mischief now and then, but there's no denying the strong connection he shares with the older generation of royals too. So what's his relationship like with his parents and grandparents? Well, there's plenty more to uncover there. Stay with us to find out more about the little prince who's loved by everyone and never overlooked, no matter how young he may be. From the minute he came into the world, he's been wrapped in love and care, not only from his parents, but from the wider royal circle around him. Every giggle, every playful face hides a deeper story filled with real relationships that helped shape his early years. At the heart of it all is his mom, who knows him better than anyone else. She's the kind of mother who makes time for all the little things, no matter how busy royal life gets. She's always there for bedtime stories, sunny afternoons in the garden, and those spontaneous kitchen baking sessions where flour ends up everywhere. Lewis is full of energy and questions, and while that might keep her on her toes, she absolutely loves it. Their time in the garden at Adelaide Cottage is one of their favorites. He loves digging in the dirt, helping plant flowers, and chasing butterflies. And when it comes to creativity, he's all in. Painting, dancing, laughing. These are the small things that bring big joy. Watching him dance around with his sister or playfully tackle his brother, she soaks up every moment, knowing these memories will stay with him for years to come. His dad is just as hands-on, someone who learned a lot about parenting from his own mother, and now pours all that love and wisdom into raising his own kids. The connection between father and son is genuine and full of laughter. Lewis's cheeky grin is often met with a playful response from his dad, and whether they're outside in the fresh air or mid-tickle fight on the sofa, it's clear that their bond is rock solid. But beyond the fun, his dad also quietly teaches him about compassion, being gentle with others, and understanding the importance of sticking together as a family. These are lessons that go beyond just being royal. They're about being a good person. His grandparents on his mom's side play an enormous role too. Away from the royal spotlight, Lewis spends time at their home in Bucklebury, where life is calm, warm, and delightfully ordinary. His grandmother is more than just someone who gives out hugs, though she gives plenty of those. She's his playmate, the one who shares sprinkles while decorating cookies, runs around the garden, and sneaks in cuddles when no one else is looking. Her love is soft, sweet, and constant. His grandfather, though quieter, brings a different kind of magic. He's the calm in the storm, taking Lewis for peaceful walks, showing him birds in the trees, and teaching him how to slow down and enjoy the quiet things. Those calm hours spent walking side by side or reading a story before bed are the kind of moments that stay with a child forever. Then there's his grandfather on his dad's side. Even with all his responsibilities, he always finds time to be there. His love for the outdoors is something he passes down in little lessons. Stories about trees, the rhythm of the seasons, and the treasures hidden in the garden. Lewis listens wide-eyed, soaking it all up. He's still little, but the wisdom shared in those quiet chats plants seeds for the future. There's a tenderness between them that's easy to miss unless you're really paying attention. His laughter brings a lightness that his grandfather seems to treasure, and in return, he gets warmth, curiosity, and an introduction to a world bigger than the palace gates. Growing up in the middle of all the tradition and ceremony that comes with being royal, it would be easy to feel lost in the mix. But Lewis isn't just surrounded by history. He's surrounded by real love, the kind that shows up in small, everyday ways. Whether it's a hug from his mom, a tickle from his dad, or baking biscuits with his grandma, each moment adds something special to who he's becoming. Everyone in his life brings a little magic to his journey, and it's this closeness, this constant circle of love, that gives him the strong roots he'll need as he grows up. But there's one name that hasn't come up yet, one figure who hasn't appeared in this warm circle of connection. Where does she fit in? Before we get there, we need to go back and understand the story that shaped so much of the world Lewis was born into, the long and complicated relationship between Prince Charles and Camilla, the one that left a lasting mark on Prince William's life. Behind the castle gates, his story wasn't always the fairy tale it might have seemed. When his parents were still together, things weren't always as happy as they seemed. From the outside, it might have looked like a perfect royal romance, but inside the palace walls, young William could feel the tension building between them. Even though there were moments of love and laughter, he could sense when something wasn't right. Behind their smiles and appearances, the cracks had started to show. Just 5 years into their marriage, it became clear to many that they were drifting in very different directions. They had different dreams, different needs, and slowly the distance between them began to grow. By 1986, both of them had quietly begun looking for comfort in other people. Diana found a sense of closeness with James Hewitt, who had once been the boys' riding instructor, while Charles found himself drawn back to Camilla, the woman he had loved for many years. Whispers and speculation filled the newspapers. The public began asking questions. Inside the royal family, the tension became hard to ignore. In 1989, the unspoken finally became spoken when Diana confronted Camilla at a birthday party. While some inside the family still hoped to save the marriage, even involving Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip to offer guidance and support, the damage had already run deep. Prince Philip even wrote to Diana, asking her to try to understand Charles and encouraging her to find a way forward. Diana appreciated the care behind those letters, but no letter, no advice, no royal effort could mend what had already been torn apart. By the early 90s, the cracks had widened for the world to see. Private conversations and deeply personal moments between Charles and Diana began to leak, filling newspapers and shocking television audiences. For William, it wasn't just stories in the press. It was the collapse of his home, his family, his sense of safety. And unlike most children going through the pain of divorce, he had to endure it in front of the whole world. In December 1992, the couple publicly announced their separation. The palace called it an amicable decision, but behind the scenes, emotions ran high. Rumors swirled, including Diana's fears that Charles had become too close to his personal assistant, a woman named Tiggy, who had once been William and Harry's nanny. The constant gossip made everything even more confusing and upsetting for William, who was still so young and trying to make sense of a world that kept shifting around him. When the divorce was finalized in 1996, William and Harry remained at the center of both their parents' lives. Though they split custody, the emotional impact stayed. For William, the experience taught him lessons he never forgot. He learned how painful it is to hear hurtful words between people who once loved each other. He understood how much a child longs for peace when the people they love are hurting. The pain of those years lingered, but it also helped shape the man he would become. As he grew older, he carried those memories with him. They taught him how important kindness is, how trust should be protected, and how love isn't about grand gestures. It's about being there when it matters most. Those lessons stayed with him when he fell in love with Kate. Watching the way he now builds his own family shows just how deeply his past shaped him. He's the kind of father who plays on the floor, the kind of husband who shares quiet glances of understanding, and someone who truly values the warmth of home. The calm and joy in his household are a reflection of how much he's grown from the pain he once knew. And even though the old wounds may not have fully healed, they helped build a strong, loving foundation for the family he's created. He's protective, thoughtful, and determined to give his children what he longed for most as a child: stability and love. And that's something truly powerful. Over time, William came to accept Camilla. He welcomed her as part of the family. But no one can truly know what's in someone's heart. It's possible that feelings remain complicated, shaped by all those years of watching pain unfold between the people he loved most. So when it comes to Prince Louis, the warm little light in the family, people can't help but notice something quietly missing. He's surrounded by affection, from his mother's joyful hugs to his father's playful jokes, from his grandparents' cuddles to shared laughter in the garden. Everyone around him seems to light up when he's near. But there's one person whose presence feels a bit more distant. Camilla doesn't seem to be as involved in those everyday moments that mean the most. While others bake cookies, read bedtime stories, or explore the outdoors with him, she often stays quietly in the background. People have noticed this gentle distance and can't help but wonder what it means. Is it simply how the family works, or does it go deeper? Some believe the answer lies not in the present, but in the past, woven into the childhood memories that shaped William himself. To really understand, we have to look further back and explore the complex history that brought Camilla into their lives in the first place. When William was still a young boy, the cracks in his parents' marriage were beginning to show, and no matter how much they tried to keep things private, the world saw it all unfold. The tension between Prince Charles and Princess Diana became front-page news, and Camilla's name kept appearing at the center of the turmoil. For William, it wasn't just headlines. It was his life, his family, and the love he saw breaking apart. Those images, those words, and those emotions left an imprint on his heart that didn't easily fade. When Charles eventually married Camilla in 2005, William showed his support in public, walking tall beside his father. But behind closed doors, those closest to the family noticed a quiet gap that still lingered. William's deep bond with his late mother and the memory of her pain made it hard to fully let Camilla into his world. Years later, when William became a husband and a father, he made a silent promise to give his children the childhood he never had, one filled with warmth, calm, and emotional safety. He wanted Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and little Prince Louis to grow up in a home where laughter came easily, where bedtime stories weren't shadowed by worry, and where love felt steady and strong. That promise shapes how he navigates family dynamics now. It's not that he holds anger. It's more about ensuring that his children feel surrounded by gentleness and joy. And sometimes that means choosing to keep certain relationships respectful but distant. Children, even the youngest ones like Louis, have a special way of sensing the atmosphere around them. They might not know all the stories or understand the complicated pasts, but they can feel warmth, or the absence of it. Louis, with his sparkly eyes and cheeky grin, is full of life and fun, but he's also thoughtful and observant. He notices when someone lights up around him or when a room feels a little too quiet. Without knowing why, he may naturally drift toward those who give him unconditional warmth and comfort. Camilla, in public, has always tried to show grace and support. She stands by King Charles, takes on her duties with care, and has worked to win the public's favor. Many now view her in a softer light, seeing the kindness she brings to her role. But the relationships that matter most, especially for children, are built in the small, real-life moments, the ones that don't happen in front of cameras. These are the quiet evenings with stories, the messy afternoons baking cookies, the long walks filled with laughter and curious questions. And so far, there haven't been many of those visible moments between Camilla and Louis. Some believe it's just a matter of timing. Louis is still young and isn't always present at bigger royal events, which limits how much the public sees. But others think there may be something more subtle happening, a quiet emotional line drawn by history and old pain that hasn't fully healed. It's not coldness or anger, it's a gentle, unspoken space. That space doesn't mean anything is wrong. Sometimes relationships grow slowly. Sometimes they just settle into something simple and respectful. Camilla is still very much a part of Louis's world, but more like a calm presence in the background than someone he runs to with muddy hands and garden flowers. And yet, even in this quiet dynamic, there have been a few touching glimpses that made people smile. One of those sweet moments happened on Christmas Day at Sandringham, during a royal family walk to church. Everyone was dressed in their best, smiling and greeting the crowd. Prince Louis looked especially charming that morning, all dressed up with his playful spark in full display. As the family made their way toward the church, Camilla gently placed her hand on Louis's back, guiding him with care. The two shared a light conversation, smiling as they walked side by side. Louis looked up at her with his usual wide-eyed curiosity, and in that tender exchange, there seemed to be a flicker of real connection. It was brief, but heartwarming, and those watching couldn't help but feel moved. Another lovely moment came when Camilla was visiting the Isle of Man. While meeting a local mother holding twin boys dressed in adorable matching coats, Camilla smiled warmly and laughed. The scene made her think of her own grandchildren, and without hesitation, she mentioned Louis, his boundless energy, his lively nature, and the way he brings joy to those around him. It was a small comment, but it showed genuine affection, a glimpse into the fondness she holds for her grandson. Even if the world doesn't often see them playing or baking together, it's clear that Louis is in her thoughts. In the end, not every family bond follows the same pattern. Some grow fast, others take their time. And for little Prince Louis, who is surrounded by so much love already, the door is always open for quiet connections to grow in their own way. Her comment made everyone around her laugh, revealing a softer, playful side of the Queen consort that few ever see. There have even been quiet moments at royal picnics and garden parties when Prince Louis has run past Camilla, waving his tiny hand or proudly showing her a flower he picked himself. At one summer charity event, onlookers caught a glimpse of Louis giggling as Camilla bent down to whisper something in his ear. Whatever she said made him burst into a loud, pure, and infectious fit of laughter, the kind only a little boy can have. These small moments made people pause and wonder. Could it be that beneath all the family drama and complicated history, there's a genuine bond growing between Camilla and Louis? Or are these simply polite gestures crafted for public eyes? Some believe Camilla knows exactly how to behave when cameras are watching, while others feel these tiny exchanges show a woman quietly trying to connect with her step-grandchildren in her own way. Maybe little Louis, with his sweet smile and kind heart, senses when someone means well. No one really knows what happens behind closed doors. But whether these moments are carefully planned or just natural, they matter. They remind us that even families with complicated pasts have room for simple kindness and tender connections. Prince Louis is a child who lights up every room he enters. His laughter and playful spirit have a way of softening hearts. And Queen Camilla, who has walked a long and often difficult road within the royal family, might find unexpected joy in these innocent, happy moments. So whether it's a hand on the back, a shared laugh, or a whispered joke in a sunny garden, these little moments leave a mark. They show that no matter how complicated life gets, love and warmth can find a way to shine through, even in a royal family watched by the whole world. Yet amid all this joy, something wasn't quite right, and Louis made sure everyone noticed. Let's uncover what happened next. The Christmas surprise nobody saw coming changed what was supposed to be a cheerful royal gathering into an unforgettable evening, all because of one small, honest gesture from little Prince Louis. The scene was Princess Catherine's beautiful Christmas carol service at Westminster Abbey, a night filled with music, kindness, and holiday magic. To celebrate the season, everyone at the service was invited to write little notes of thanks on bright red cards and hang them on a special kindness tree. These notes were meant to honor the people who had made them smile or feel loved throughout the year. The idea was simple, but it touched many hearts, especially with the young royals joining in. Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and lively little Prince Louis arrived hand in hand with their proud parents, Kate and William. George and Charlotte clutched their cards tightly, keeping their messages private. But Louis, always full of charm and boldness, happily waved his card for all to see. In his sweet, slightly messy handwriting, Louis had written a heartfelt message. He thanked his grandma and grandpa, Carol and Michael Middleton, Kate's parents, for playing games with him and making him laugh. The note was adorable, innocent, and honest, just like Louis himself. The Middleton family nearby beamed with joy when they spotted the little card. It was a tender family moment, and many in the room couldn't help but smile. But soon, people noticed something missing. There was no mention of Queen Camilla. In a room full of royal watchers, guests, and reporters, Louis's card didn't go unnoticed. Someone, perhaps trying to keep the mood light, quietly asked Louis why Camilla wasn't on his list. What happened next stunned everyone. With the honest seriousness only a child can have, Louis looked up and softly said, "She's not telling the truth." The room fell completely silent. Kate's warm smile faded as she gently placed a hand on Louis's shoulder, her motherly instincts kicking in. William seemed taken aback, unsure how to respond to his young son's bold words. But Louis wasn't finished. In his innocent, straightforward way, he explained that Camilla had promised to play with him but didn't. Instead, when he tried to join her, she scolded him and sent him away. The little prince admitted he felt sad and confused watching her sit quietly while he had hoped for playtime. For a moment, no one spoke. The room held its breath, touched by the raw honesty of a child speaking from the heart. Without thinking about royal rules or grown-up expectations, it wasn't meant to cause trouble. It was just a little boy sharing his feelings. How did Camilla react? Her silent smile said a lot. The festive evening at Westminster Abbey had begun just as everyone hoped, with cheerful music, twinkling lights, and warm smiles all around. The air was filled with laughter, and even the royal family seemed relaxed and happy. Children giggled, guests chatted, and everything felt like the perfect start to Christmas. Little Prince Louis, known for his playful spirit and bright smile, made a surprising comment that instantly changed the mood. What was supposed to be a light, happy moment turned into something much bigger, and all eyes quickly turned to Queen Camilla. She had been standing nearby and seemed caught off guard. For a split second, she didn't know how to react. A small, tight smile appeared on her face, but anyone paying attention could see the surprise in her eyes. The room, which had been full of laughter just moments before, suddenly grew quiet. People exchanged quick glances. It was as if a secret window into the royal family's private world had opened, one the public rarely sees. Louis's simple, innocent words had touched on something deeper, something unspoken. Within minutes, the news spread like wildfire. Videos of the moment popped up everywhere online. People shared clips of Louis's candid remark with wide-eyed emojis and shocked comments. Many praised the young prince for his honesty, calling him brave and sweet. Others focused on Camilla's reaction, noticing how uncomfortable she seemed in that brief, tense moment. Some even joked that children have a special way of seeing the truth, picking up on things grown-ups try to hide. What started as a night of songs and kind wishes suddenly became the evening's biggest story. That little boy's honest words showed the world how, even in royal families, real feelings and unexpected surprises can surface when no one's expecting them. For many, it was a sweet reminder that sometimes the smallest voices leave the biggest impressions. What do you think? Why would Louis say something like that about his grandma? What might Queen Camilla say in her defense? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Before you go, be sure to click on the video shown on your screen.